Alrighty, so what we're going to look at is our battery drills that we have in some of our kits. We can look at this as a Makita brand, so the Makita is actually a branding. We have different ones. You've got DeWalt, Milwaukee, you've got all the different types of Hitachi, whatever it is. So what you've got to really do is just in your groups is have a look at your drills. If they're different to this one, just have a quick look and look at the functions on. But we'll just show you the functions of the two different types here. This one's in one box, so when you buy it, you basically have a Makita drill. Okay, so this is a drill, I suppose. It's got a chuck on it, got a couple other features on it, and this one's just your impact driver. Okay, much smaller, much lighter, but they both come in the same kit. When we talk about a drill, it's traditionally as a drill. You can see this one here, 18-volt battery. Now with the batteries, there's a little right there, so it's a little like a click-in locking system. So you pull it down, click it back in. Okay, that's how they lock in. If you want to take it out, you must pull that down. So you see the red there, so you see that little red, and we pull it back out again. Okay. Now that's our batteries. They're interchangeable, and they're an 18-volt battery. So that goes into that one there, clicks in. Now the other thing with our batteries, we've got our charger over there. You don't leave them in the drills. Okay. You can take the batteries out when you finish them, plug them into the charger, have your charger plugged into the power, and leave it on there all the time. The battery chargers are conditioning battery chargers, so they condition the batteries all the time and make sure they're at optimum. With some of your batteries also, you can see on the back of this battery here, okay, it's got a little white button there. You push it, so you push the little white button, you'll see three red lights come up there. That means it's used as 1 bar of its lights, so you've got 4 all up. When we push it again, 3 there, still got 3 that are full. If it's completely full, there's 4. It comes down to 1, the 1 flashes. That means that you're starting to run out of power. So you don't want to get up onto the roof with 1 flashing, because that means you're going to get up there and it's just going to stop immediately. So just going back to our drill again. So this is our drill. It's much heavier. So it's much heavier to use. It's a lot more awkward. But in saying that, it does different features. So this one here, you have 2 speeds. You have slow speed and you have a fast speed. So you might want to do something where you're going to go nice and slow. So you're drilling a hole or something like that. You don't want it to overheat, you need to go onto the 1. The other feature on the front, it's got a picture of a screw, it's got then a picture of a drill bit, so we can push this little lever across, okay, to the drill, so that's when we're going to drill a hole, and then it goes over to what looks like a hammer. Now the hammer is if we're going to drill holes into concrete and things like that, but we've got to be careful we don't use a steel drill bit on hammer into metal, because it's going to make a really bad sound, which I can't do here because it would be quite loud. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to drill a hole, we're going to put it onto the drill motion. You also have a clutch in this one, so you can see it starts off at a 16, 14, goes all the way down, okay, to there. So what happens to that is, as we're drilling our hole now, before we do, you can see if I do this, you can start to see this little chuck coming in and out. So that's coming out and opening up there. So what we want to do, we're going to use a drill bit, make it a little bit bigger, reverse, put our drill bit into there. We put it forward. Now what I mean by forward, on the side here of the drill, you can see a little button. This little button goes that way, or goes that way. Now at the moment, if I go that way, it's going forward. What I mean by forward, our drill bit goes around that way and we'll drill a hole the right way around. If I want it reverse, I push the little button there, so you can see that little button I've got on the side, push it the other way. Now my drill bit's going the opposite way. It won't drill, but if I was doing a screw, it would actually undo the screw and take it back out again. So you can see now I've got the drill bit into there. You can see how fast I can drill, how slow it can drill, and that would be into our drill there. Now also I've got that down to the 1. That means it's nice and tight. Okay, I can't stop that from turning by holding the chuck. If I go this way with our little clutch function, up to 16, so it's even tighter. I can hardly hold that at all. So it's going to spin right around in my hand. So the clutch function just stops it from spinning and make it nice and loose at any phase. Okay, but generally that's just going to be our drill, pretty much as a drill. Now we can use that up on the roof to take screws out, but this one's going to be a little bit better for us. Simply this one here, same thing again, battery if I want to take it out, clicks in and out, back into there like that. Now this one doesn't have as many functions. So really the functions are forward, which is that way, push that across, here's my reverse, and that's the only function it has that I can change. So what we can only put in here, we can't put a drill bit into here because it doesn't have a chuck that screws up on it. We can only use what we call the tips that go into these. So in our kits, we will have 3 different types. Okay, or 3 different things. So that one's a Phillips, okay, or your Star. Okay, it's called a P2 if you want to know that one. If you ever want to get a replacement, it's called a P2. So that's really, really important. That P2 one does our normal star screws, as you can see here, the little star screws. So that sits into our star nicely. Okay, and we can screw in like that. All right? That's why we call it a P2, it fits those ones there. Now in your kits also, you're going to have the hex bits. Okay, so usually should be 2 different sizes. Okay, this one here is a 5/16. All right, so you can look onto here. So we look up close, there's 5/16. 5/16 is the head size of the screw. You can see the 2 screws I got here, the head size. So that's your 5/16, that's your 3/8. The 3/8 is the bigger one. Where you see the 5/16 most of the time is with our whirlybirds and things like that, or other people have, they're a smaller screw generally, and they're used for screwing things on like whirlybirds, skylights, air conditioners and things like that. Okay, so what I mean by that size is there's the hex there. They've also got a magnet in there that actually holds the screw in place, so when you put it like that, it doesn't fall out. The most common is going to be our 3/8. So you can see on the shaft there, it says 3/8. That's our 3/8 screw. That's most of our roofing screws. Now, all our roofing screws that we have where we screw our roof off down our roof line like this here are going to be that 3/8 size. Bearing that in mind, if you go down south, so you went into Brisbane or Sydney, a lot of them will be smaller because they don't have the cyclone rating that we have up here and need the bigger head on the screws. So what we're going to do is look at our screw gun, or where we're going to put it into our battery drill. You can see the shaft coming down here where we read that 3/8, and then there's actually a little scalloped out section. The idea of that is, you can see this here, we have to pull that out. So that actually locks our screw tip in place. So if we try to push that in now, okay, it'll lock in there and we can't get it back out again. So what that does is a couple of ball bearings in there, around there. So what that's done is, those ball bearings have sat around that little section there, the scallop section. So we put it in and it won't come back out. So as we're working away, this won't fall, because imagine if that fell out, it would roll down the roof and we'd be chasing it all the time. So to get it out, you pull that little cowl or the little cup forward and you can pop it back out again to change over. Remember, if you do pull it out, make sure you don't put it out on the roof or somewhere you're going to lose it. Very easy to lose on the roof, quite simply. So we put it back into there, ready to go. Now the good function of these, they've got a little light on them as well. That light's really, really handy. So as you're pushing down, you can see where the screw is going to end up. So what we do, we can put our screw into our socket there, so on our hex drive, we can bring it up to here. Now remember I said we had a forward function, so what I mean by forward, our screw has got a spiral going down, all the way down. Once we start, we want to go forward, so we would go like that. Okay, push our screw in, and it'll go all the way down. So we got it in the wrong place, so we want to do something different. As you can see, that function there that I said forward and reverse. So they put it beautifully near the trigger here, so at the moment I'm going forward. Now if I want to reverse it, push it that way, right through, and push it back out again. Want to go forward again, back out. So that's that one there, forward and reverse. So that's the only 2 functions this one's have on it. There's also a clutch in this one, so if we go too far, it won't keep screwing the screw down, it'll start bouncing around. That's what they call impact. So it actually uses like a vibration or a little hammer to actually help us get screws in and out. Simple enough, our impact right there, and our normal battery drill that we normally see on any other particular drill.